what is the domain of the function f of x equals 2x over 3x minus 5? All right, so in this case, this type of function is called a rational function, right? It's a fraction. We say the x is in both the numerator and denominator. And what's the key point to remember with rational functions, or any rational number actually? Remember the denominator, right? The denominator cannot equal 0. Okay. So we can't have something like 3 over 0 or even like negative 5 over 0, right? You just can't end up with the 0 in the denominator. So what does that mean in this case, Matt? Remember, we're trying to find the domain of this function. So let's think about that, right? So basically, if you want to draw this type of diagram, right, we have all the x values that we're going to evaluate this guy at. It's called the domain. We evaluate it into the function, right? We plug it in, and then something comes out, right? That's going to be called the range. But remember, this function is 2x over 3x minus 5. So essentially, we want to find the values that actually don't work. Okay? So what do we mean by that? Remember, the denominator can't equal 0. So what does that mean? Okay, we'll set the denominator equal to 0. Right? We'll add the 5 over to the other side, and we'll divide by 3. So we get x equals 5/3, right? Let's think about what that means. Okay, what does that mean? Okay, if I ask you to evaluate f of 5 over 3, right, what's going to happen? Okay, so we get 2 times 5 over 3, right? All over 3 times 5 over 3 minus 5. Numerator doesn't really matter, right? We get 10/3. But notice what happens on the denominator. Right? The 3's cancel out, so 5 minus 5 equals 0. Okay. So what does that mean? If we take the 5/3, right? Let's say we take the 5/3 and we try to plug it into the function, what's going to happen? It's going to break down, right? We can't get an answer when x is equal to 5/3. So for a rational function, that's what we're trying to find with the domain. Okay, now we notice, well, wait a minute, any other number will work, right? No matter what we plug in here, okay, we will be able to get an answer. So the only number that does not work is 5 over 3. So how can we write that? Okay, so all real numbers except 5/3. Okay, so in interval notation, it's basically going to be negative infinity up till 5/3 with the parentheses, union 5/3 to positive infinity. So basically, it's negative infinity to infinity, except we're excluding this one single number. So whenever we're excluding one value, this is how we write the answer.